Hello, fellow humans, and thanks for clicking on the video that is all about IGN Live 2025. In the absence of E3, IGN has opted to fill that gap left behind and host a fan focused day that aims to be, quote, a multi day celebration of video games and entertainment. Now, with demos from games released and unreleased, announcements of all varieties, panels, live shows, and so many giveaways, IGN Live definitely feels like a celebration. The event, which took place June 7th through 8th, 2025, at the Magic Box at the Reef in downtown LA, expanded into more space in year two, which allowed the space to feel less chaotic than in year one. There's, of course, still, it's a chaotic convention type setting at times, but overall, it felt like the event staff had better control of crowds and foot traffic this time around. Last year, in the two rooms they mainly utilized, the sound level got loud, adding to this chaotic feeling overall. This year, given that they had two separate rooms for games and fan activation and a separate main stage room, the noise level never became too overbearing for me throughout the day, with the varying crowd sizes in each room throughout the day. Having that noise level be one of my only real criticisms of last year, I am happy that, whether intentional or not, this year's event was not as overbearingly loud across the board, which is appreciated and nice. The event started on Saturday at 9 a.m. I rolled up to the parking lot a little after, around like 9:30, and then got in line. The line took a while to get in, took about 30, 45 minutes to get all the way into IGN Live, missed the opening show and all that. And I was late, so I expected it. But in part, it's because I believe the majority of people, 90 to 95% of people, most likely did the VIP entrance, especially on the first day. Now, to break down ticket prices, you had general admission for one day at $25, and you could choose which day you wanted to go to, but only one day. For $40, you can go both days. So you're already getting a $10 discount if you were planning on going to both days. But you also got this t-shirt and a little swag bag. I left the bag inside. It's not as good quality as last year's, which is understandable. Canvas bags are nice and expensive to get a nice one. So I'm not surprised this year's is a little shitty, and you can literally see through the fabric. Oh well, whatever. You got this shirt, you got the bag, you got some other goodies. There was a pin for the new Alien show coming out to Hulu, a sticker sheet, stuff like that. But to me, getting a shirt that is event specific, IGN Live, this is 2025. It's kind of the design aesthetic they had this year. I love it. It says IGN Live VIP on the back too. I like that. It's an event specific shirt. Down for that. $25 for one day. Add in the cost of a shirt, which, I mean, quality, whatever. But 20 to 25, I think, is fair for a t-shirt. So, it pays for itself. So if you're only going for one day, or if you're even going for both, obviously you do the $40. But if I was going for one day, which I ended up doing this year, not planned, it just happened that way. Why wouldn't you do the $40 option? So the majority of people were in that line. I'm going to throw up an image. This is the VIP line, and we just watched the non-VIP line have no one in it. I did consider, what if I just spent $25 and walked right in, and I wouldn't have had to wait in the line at all. I could have just walked in and then here's my VIP. I could have picked up the bag later as well. That's just a silly thing, but it's interesting. We'll see if they do it next year, if that changes, if the price raises, but it is such a good value, $40 to go both days, get a shirt and all that stuff. But outside of those perks of being, quote, VIP, I don't think any of the added perks they added onto it matter. There's like priority access to things. The majority of people are VIP, so anyone gets priority access. And I did not see that this year be a thing. Last year, it was kind of weird as well. Who got priority and when and how that worked, it kind of just didn't matter last year. I didn't actively try to use that perk of being a VIP this year, but I just ultimately don't think that part matters. It's really, you get a shirt and a bag and you get to go both days, which is a value. So I want to talk about now, like the rooms overall, the show floor. They were bigger than last year. They were in the same space. They had their main showroom, which had the big stage. They had arcade cabinets in the back. And then that's where they also had the store where you could pick up your shirt if you got VIP or buy some of the merch as well. And this room was where they hosted like the opening show. They hosted a lot of the big panels if they did interviews or stuff like that. That's where this was. All that's on IGN Live. If they were standing up on a stage, that's what this room was, and that's where that stage was. So, being the main stage room last year, really loud. This year, because it wasn't also the hangout zone, they didn't have the lounge flies, the backpack, the big beanbag chairs, whatever they're called, love seats, something, whatever the company is called. They didn't have beanbags and couches in that main room, so it wasn't the hangout room. It was to watch the main stage show or play on the arcade cabinets. So it never got too crazy. I honestly did not spend much time in that room. But last year, that was the loudest room, both in the front with the stage, of course, with the speakers, but also just in the back and everywhere because it was like one of only two rooms last year. This one, a lot better. Now, the other room they had last year that they also utilized this year was one of the gameplay rooms where they had stations set up. In this room, they had 2K. So they had wrestling, the golf game, NBA. They had a bunch of stations to play those. They had Rainbow Six Siege, which is out now. It wasn't out at the time, so was able to play that. It basically had LAN set up, so you were able to play with the 5v5 with the team there or whatever it is, 6v6. With people who were there at the events. That was cool. They had Steam Decks. They had Playdates set up. So if you haven't used that handheld little game controller, really cool. And they also had ID at Xbox set up. They had the showcase stage, which is where they had the Claire Obscure cast react to speedrunner playing Claire Obscure, which was just fun. The developers were sitting behind me and they were reacting to that. That was cool. So that was that first floor room. Because it wasn't as tight and because there wasn't as I don't want to say much to do, but there wasn't as much to do in that room because they spread out to a whole other room. It did feel less crowded at times. It still had a one walkway, which did get kind of cramped at times, but that wasn't like always in my experience. So upstairs, they also had their theater room, which they used last year at that location, but there was only the theater last year and then a bar for adults or for, people over 21 and a little sit down area. But really you went up there for the bar and then some other like that was in the theater. This year they took over that whole space. They had more game sections posted up. They had a lot of Switch 2s up here and just regular Switches to play. This is where you were able to do stuff like host a daily fix, where you were able to read off the prompter and host with someone. I did it with Logan Plant. I have no idea where that footage is. It was supposed to be sent to me. It's gone to the ether. So I don't know. I wish I had it. But you were able to do that. You were able to play against an IGN host as well. They were playing Mario Kart. I did play that. We'll get to that later. They had a bar here as well that was closed off a little. It was in the middle, which was weird, but it was clearly like adults only area. They had the game How to Pet Your Cat set up, which is a giant fluffy cat butt with the tail and everything. And the whole game was as a competition between two people. You have to tap the cat's butt and find the right spot. So you're moving around one cheek, find the right spot. And when you find it, you see on the screen like critical hit, or you see it like respond like, oh, you're doing well, you get more points. So that's the game there. And they're trying to figure out how to get that experience, that game in-house. Like you could just press a mouse button. You can just do it on your controller too. But they're looking at making controllers that are cat butts, and how much would you pay for that? So we'll see where that comes from, but a very, very fun little experience there. They also had local artists pop up. So they had a whole row against one wall of local artists selling some stuff there. That was awesome to see. I think they had like one or two last year, but I do not remember. This year was way, way, way more intentional if they did it last year. And such. So room 2, definitely a lot more activations, a lot more things to do, more arcade cabinets in the back as well. But it really was just their gameplay room where you can go hands-on with stuff. It was just split into two sections, one on the second floor, one on the first floor. And that helped so much. So it felt like they used the space a little more. They could expand a little more to help the flow. Having one elevator in that building, they have 4, but there's only like one way up and down. So that it's rough. There's not like a clear stairway too. It's like it's off to the side. Way better handling this year, but I don't know. They may be outgrowing the space. I would love for them to outgrow the space. But yeah, so that's kind of how they had 3 rooms fully utilized this time. It felt better. It felt more spread out because there was more to do uh, and more places to be. It felt like people stayed spread out. I remember last year, a lot of people were like, is this it? That's all? Um, and I don't know if that happened as much this year. At least it didn't happen as quick. Even last year, I was like, oh, there's only 2 rooms and like, I guess that's it. Having that third room and having more things to go hands on with and just spreading it out, it definitely helped there. Now, another really cool thing that IGN Live has done from last year and this year is partnered with Child's Play Charity. Now, Child's Play Charity is a nonprofit that aims to improve the lives of children and teens in children's hospitals around the world. And for many of those in children's hospitals, going to an event like IGN Live is just simply not possible. In some cases, it's life threatening. But Child's Play, a charity, along with Omni Labs, came up with a creative solution. The Omni robot is a robot controlled by patients from their hospital beds that enables them to visit events like IGN Live. But being honest, like they also, more importantly, can attend stuff like class field trips and high school graduations. So seeing the robot in action with IGN hosts Max Scoville and Jeffrey Vega showing them around the show floor was simply awesome to see, and it's a reminder how far tech has advanced and how those advancements can be used to increase accessibility in just ways you don't expect. And when you see it and you hear it, you're like, oh, that makes sense. Children and teens who don't get to like enjoy a hobby that also alleviates stress and brings joy into places that can be traumatic, like a hospital. Um, of course, why wouldn't they want to go to a gaming event? Why wouldn't they want to see the cast of Claire Obscure if they played it? Like, why would they not want to see them do all these cool events and stuff? So having companies and nonprofits and technology uh, corporations, companies like OmniLab, work to do and to solve these kind of unique burdens, these unique roadblocks for people in unique situations, like being in children's hospitals or born with disabilities or developed disabilities of any type. Um, it's just so easy to overlook it, and to see a continued effort to like showcase this and actually using it throughout the event, at least on Saturday, was really cool. So please go check out Child's Play Charity and donate and support in any way you can. They are in children's hospitals around the world, across the US. So you can probably find a children's hospital near you that has partnered with them. They have Amazon wish list all the time from things such as crayons all the way to consoles themselves. So a ton of ways you can support. Please check them out. Now, one thing I do think lack a little bit again, and it's probably due in part to my schedule. I will admit that. But even looking at the schedule beforehand, the panels this time around, I wasn't incredibly drawn to. Of course, the Claire Obscure panel I wanted to see. That was the first thing on Saturday. I just wasn't able to. I would have had to get there early anyways. But other than that, there was very few that I was like, oh, I want to go there. And they still only have one theater and now two different stages. One of those stages just being more defined than it was last year. They haven't gained any stage space or theater space. So, I would like to see more options for panels, more longer panels, stuff like that. I don't know how many floors or what the magic or what that space has to be able to expand into another theater room, but I do think having multiple theater or at least 2 spaces to hold more than one panel at once would be the right step. There's a whole lot of things you could do with panels, and I feel like that may be something that is missing. Just having diverse panels as opposed to just, oh, I don't care about the Killing Floor 3, so I'm not going to go to that one. I'll just wait till the next one. But maybe there's, oh, the Killing Floor 3 is right now. Let me go check out the other one that's going on as well, because I'm actually interested in that. So more options, more variety. Overall, I did enjoy the ones I went to. I saw Play Obscure cast. They watched a speedrunner play through that. And again, I said earlier, the developers were behind me watching, and it was just cool. As soon as the speedrunner did one trick where he shot a thing behind him after jumping around a boss, it launched him straight up into the sky, and the devs were like, what? So it was cool to see them and hear them loosely talk about like, what are they doing to my game, our game? Which was cool. And it was awesome to see the whole cast there and hear them talk about it. It's a very special game. I did listen and watch the Wu-Tang panel that they had as well there. They had Brass Lion Studios come out and show off this Wu-Tang game. I'm not a Wu-Tang person. I don't think I've intentionally listened to any Wu-Tang album or song. Probably is a huge blind spot to me. But the game looked really cool, and it was interesting listening to them bring in what Wu-Tang culture and iconography and not lore, but like Easter eggs, right? How they're going to bring that in, and they seem like Wu-Tang fans. So really looking forward to that game now, and I should check out some Wu-Tang. Good. And then of course ended up not a panel, but an experience. The day before the IGN Live announced that we would have both Chelsea Green, WWE superstar, and Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio at IGN Live, respectively, on Saturday and then on Sunday. So I went Saturday and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try to meet Chelsea Green. And I happened to see early on that at 1 o'clock, he was slotted to play Mario Kart with Rebecca Valentine, IGN reporter. Mario Kart at 1 o'clock. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could play with Chelsea Green. So I go, I eat, I get back, I get up there around like 1 or 12:30 and I get in line. I'm like, this should, given how long the line is and how rounds work and how much time, okay, I should be able to play with her. She should get here at 1. To shorten this story, because I could really make this a long time. They needed one person. They already had one person up there. They needed one more because they had Chelsea and Rebecca Valentine, one fan, and they needed a party of one. And I raised my hand and they pulled me out. So me and this guy he was a huge fan. He instantly was pulling the phone out, going like, Chelsea Green. And if you know wrestling, you know that's how they introduce her. They should. Respect to our president. But he was, taking the videos, and it's just crazy. So I played Mario Kart World with Chelsea Green. And at the very last second, as we're all 1, 2, 3, we're all in the top 4, all 4 of us. This blue shell comes. I see it. I'm in 3rd, I think, and I just swoop around. It takes out 1st place. I swoop past Chelsea Green, and I get 1st over her. She's 2nd. Our friend, our AEW friend, I'm gonna call him that because he had an AEW box, which Chelsea refused to sign. He got 3rd, and Rebecca Valentine 4th. But we all were just 1, 2, 3, 4 right at the end. It was a fun time. So I got to play Mario Kart with Chelsea Green and Rebecca Valentine, and I also came out the winner. And that's just a cool sentence. So he was awesome. I've heard a lot of stuff about WWE superstars and Chelsea Green through listening to podcasts, and I got really into wrestling. But she cool. She real. It was a very quick combo. Nothing crazy, but you could tell quickly. So shout out to Chelsea Green. Sorry you had to lose. As someone who never went to E3 or any gaming convention before IGN Live in 2024, I really adore what IGN Live is and what they're doing. The updates and growth of the event from year 1 to year 2 are positive, and they hopefully point to that trend continuing. I would love to see more panels offered more clearly with a wider breadth of topics. It would be cool to see more space for board games and card games and stuff of that ilk. And of course, they still advertise the event as being all ages. I would love to see them give some focus to what there is for younger fans, as in my opinion, there was virtually nothing for a kid under 4 to do that is, quote, age appropriate. While this is a tad subjective and dependent on each individual child's own skills, there still remains the missed opportunity to create some activities that are centered towards families and kids. A section that is reserved for families and kids could still have consoles set up, with games and staff showing off the parental controls setting of the various consoles, highlighting the potential benefits and detriments of specific games. Child's Place Charity has partnered with Sakana to do research over how games can impact mental health and trauma and stress and all that. And there are a ton of benefits, both positive, a lot of them positive in how games can help process and deal with trauma. So that is something that can be involved with this. An area to play some Nintendo Switch games that require motion controls like Switch Sports or Mario Golf. Or even an area that is like full of cardboard blocks that look like Minecraft blocks, and you just have real life Minecraft for people to play with and such. There are so many opportunities for IGN Live or any event really to create some awesome experiences that can be accessible to a wide range of ages. And I really do hope they invest some time into that for the next event. I am available for consulting. IGN Live 2025 helps solidify itself as a premier fan event, one that I would highly recommend checking out. And either the $25 ticket for one day or that $40 VIP price is incredibly worth it. But of course, that will have to wait for next year, which still has not been announced to be happening. But I really hope they continue to commit to IGN Live, as I believe it serves an important role in building community around the things you love. And more importantly, it helps showcase the crucial diversity that makes the gaming community, what it is. So please support it, talk about it, hang out with people. Thank you for checking out the video. I appreciate it. Check out all their coverage on IGN Live on their YouTube and on their own website. They have a ton of announcements, a ton of things that I did not get into. This was all about the event, but I hope they do it next year, and I hope to see you there next year. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be pumping out more stuff, and I appreciate all the support. So until next time, please be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Goodbye.